Traffic on the way home was crazy. I have not seen traffic like that in I don't know how long. There was a car, an abandoned vehicle, in the middle of a road where it had never been there previous. I'd never seen this thing before. Yeah, so I had to stare at it for 15 minutes and try to make my brain figure out how and why it was there and what it meant. And it threw me off, you guys. So my schedule's been messed up, my whole day, my chi. It's been a crazy morning, all right? So bear with me, not in my normal, usual, at one with the apocalypse state of mind. So what I want to talk about, though, I promised to talk to you about this last week, and that was what I love about ShadowDark. So this is the second part of that. The first one that I tell you, that vehicle is just really throwing me off. Can't stop thinking about it. It was just there, never there before. Or was it, and my brain rewrote something? I don't know. You know, it's gonna keep me up at night. ShadowDark, it's a wonderful game, and I would like to talk about why. And then after that, I figured I would tell you the things I don't like about it, but that'll be in another video because my attention span, and yours, all of our attention spans. So last video I told you that ShadowDark could have slain Dungeons & Dragons, but it won't. And I told you why. The name's too narrow, it's stuck being grim and dark instead of the thing that everyone says that they mean when they say let's play pretend dragon games with dice, and that there will never not be a world where playing tabletop role-playing is said like this: let's play D&D. But I did tell you that if ever there were a game that could take on D&D in the 2020s, it's this one. And I said I would make a video about all the things that I like about it. So this is that video, everything that I love about ShadowDark. And I'll tell you this with, at first, an anecdote. Last week, I started a new campaign with my players, and if you know my players, they're special, they have some special needs. And even though I made it very clear to my players that they need to have chosen their characters, they should have had them rolled up before showing up to play, of course, they did not do that. So this is where ShadowDark really shines. Unlike D&D, where about an hour into a 3-hour session, we'd still be figuring out ability scores. It took us under 20 minutes to make sure that everyone was sorted. And that's the first thing that I love about ShadowDark. Character creation was optimized to be fast. Now, I know ShadowDark is not unique in this fact. There are plenty of OSR or Sim-Lite TTRPGs out there designed to get you playing quickly and eliminate the needless crunch required just to start playing. And if that were all it was, then there'd really be nothing special here, but that's just the start. The next thing is that it's just one book, mostly. We'll come back to that in my things I don't like, but by and large, you only need this and really nothing else. That doesn't mean there aren't additional things you can add to it, like this and the other cursed scrolls, but you don't have to. This is all you really need to have a great time with your friends. And in fact, it's not even all of it, because more than half of this book is actually just reference. So, like from here forward-ish, it's mostly just reference, not rules anymore. So that's really all you're talking about when it comes to the mechanics. This is the lightest TTRPG that lends itself to not a light experience that I've ever played. There are so many other competing examples though, so it's not the only one, and I want to keep it reiterating that. There are so many great OSR games, but this is just the one that I'm talking about right now. And that does relate to the next thing that I like, though. It doesn't lecture you. It doesn't patronize you, it trusts you, it gives you the structure of a game, just enough verbiage for you to understand it, and then it gets the hell out of your way. It doesn't re-explain everything 5 ways. It doesn't try to inject a bunch of lore you may or may not use in your game and that you have to wade through to get to the mechanics, and it doesn't tell you how you should feel about the marginalization of goblins or how your West Marches campaign is the perpetuation of the evils of colonialism. And all of that I find very refreshing. It trusts the game master for once. Too many games don't do that these days. Also, you can die in this game, and not just if the GM decides to be mean to you. The wrong place, the wrong time, you could just get one-shotted, and so you have to play smart. Health points, they're low for you and for the things that are trying to eat you, and everyone's fragile, and because everything and everyone is fragile, everything means something. Every fight is frightful. You're not doing action economy math so much as you're asking, how do I not die right now, in creative ways. But a lot of people miss what this means. Those stuck in 5e hear that, and they often go, well, how is that a selling point? That you die easy? I mean, yeah, I can understand, I can appreciate, especially for newer players. They don't understand what that means for the game, or what it could mean. They're used to overpowered spell books, and algorithmically or logarithmically leveled up superhumans, rather than, wait, logarithmic? I don't know. It's rather than linear. Yes, logarithmic, isn't that like, yeah, like there's it goes like this, not like this, like leveling up, right? I'm trying to pretend like I'm smart for a second, and I failed. But your character can't just blast their way through every problem. It brings actual fear into it, and self-preservation, and that means that you tap more deeply into the part of your brain that has to creatively solve difficult challenges. Not you're in a module designed like an escape room without any real consequences, and where you can show off your fantastic mutant superhero abilities. And that's fine for people who want those types of games. But what I'm trying to help you see is that just dying easy, being vulnerable, it doesn't just mean that it's a harsh game that will make you suffer. That's not what we're saying. It's saying that you have to really be creative, and in a way that you don't actually with D&D and other crunchy games that give you massive class trees and superhuman abilities. Because if you're not creative and you find different solutions, out-of-box solutions for getting through problems, you're just as likely to get TPK'd. And when drawing steel is the last result, it's actually incredible what sorts of things players will bring into an adventure. And if you have not experienced that, you're missing out. When your party has to really, really think, how do we get out of this mess that we're in? How do we get through this without resorting to combat, because combat is inherently risky? That's also a benefit for those of us that are we're tired, you guys. We've battled a party of goblins a million times in our Dungeons & Dragons and tabletop RPG experiences, and we don't need another battle with goblins. We just don't. So finding a way past that creatively can be very interesting and much more exciting, especially if you are at all interested in crafting narratives and learning who a character is that you're playing, and letting a world unravel itself, or not unravel, well, maybe unravel, but unwrap itself to you. That is why many of us play the game. And while this looks minimal and like not a lot of depth, that's not true, or at least that's true about the game itself maybe, but what it makes you do is get deep, and that's what I love. That extends also to the magic system. I enjoy magic rules so much in this game because everything is a cantrip at the beginning, and you can spam everything until you can't anymore, until you fail. But failure, it doesn't just mean that it's gone and you have to long rest to get it back. It failed badly enough, and it potentially means a trip to the mishap table. I should have had that ready to go. The mishap table is, it's actually, I think it's fun to have that happen, and not just because I'm an evil game master, but because failure can be interesting. And this game, it leans into that. Oh, here we go. I actually did have it open. Wizard Mishap. So you have different tiers and what can go. Let me just give you an example. Stupefaction. Oh no, stupefaction, I'm sorry. You lose the ability to cast all spells of the same tier until you complete a rest. That's interesting, but uncontained channeling, you have a disadvantage on casting spells of the same tier and lower for 10 rounds. I mean, Dark Plasma Aura. Attacks against you pass through a vile aura, dealing double damage for the next 2d6 rounds. That's okay. Anyway, it's interesting and it's fun, and it makes it so that you can't, like I said, blast your way through everything. You have to really be, you have to really consider when you want to do it, and it goes back to the whole trusting thing, like with everything being a cantrip. And knowing that it's in your hands, how long you want to risk casting until you potentially blow up at some point is likely, then it makes it interesting, and it really makes, again, it brings out creativity. I think people look at this book and say, it's so little, it must be so much less sophisticated, but what they are missing is that the verbosity of 5e amounts to a little cushy ride in your carefully curated and guarded experience of where everything is just so. It's like riding in a smart car where, not that I've ever done that, but from what I understand, where all decisions are made for you in an effort to sanitize the experience and make it as comfortable as possible. But in ShadowDark, that's all thrown away. All those guardrails and even all those guardrails are taken away, and it welcomes the grit. It's the bullet bike on the Autobahn in comparison, and it's far more interesting, and through its simplicity, it brings sophisticated tabletop play. And it's cheap, and it's everywhere, and you can feed all your old modules to it, and it works wonderfully well. You can crack open something written in 81 and run it basically as is. I was running Keep It in the Borderland through it, or with it, and it's wonderful. And then you can not lie to people. You're not doing that bait and switch that those of us who've played other games other than D&D, I've had this conversation. It's like you pull out a different game, and like this, ShadowDark, and they say, well, wait, this is ShadowDark? I thought we were playing D&D. So if you're playing a D&D module, you can say, we are playing D&D, and you're not lying, and you're not bait and switch, and then you just keep playing. And you can just say something dumb about ShadowDark being a homebrew, but you're still playing D&D. Because some people get so fixated on that. And there's a mountain of stuff out there that is instantly playable, and more being written, because a lot of people have been writing for ShadowDark. I notice it's I don't know if it's just what's being shared with me, but it seems like content for ShadowDark is one of the most common kickstarted module writing that I've been seeing, other than Dungeons & Dragons. More than that, it's laid out really well. The design is solid. It's pretty easy to find what you need. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. It's not hard to get right where you need, and it's labeled well. I like these colored sections in the book, and it's just not difficult to get what you need and to look up a rule. And most of the time you don't need to, because it's simple. Those are all things I like about ShadowDark, but it's not perfect, and in fact, there are some things I actually really don't like about it. But I'll save that for my next video. So if it's out, you can watch it now by clicking on linky things. But if it's not, make sure you keep your eyes peeled, because it's sure to be a banger of a video. Probably not. I don't know why I said that. May your rolls ever be high, my friends, and may your ammunition never run low.